Your mind is not just thinking, it's programming your future. Every thought you repeat becomes a command, shaping your reality. Most people live on mental autopilot, trapped in recycled fears. But once you learn to control your inner language, everything changes. Focus sharpens energy, rises, and life starts obeying you. This audiobook isn't motivation, it's mental re-engineering. Before we begin, take a moment to slow down. And if you're someone who values depth over noise, tap like. It helps YouTube send you more of what actually grows your mind. Introduction. Your life is always moving in the direction of your dominant thoughts. Thoughts become signals. Signals shape choices, and choices form your days. Your entire life is an echo of what you think most often. When your thinking is weak, your actions shrink. When your thoughts are small, your world stays narrow. But the moment you shift the pattern clarity over noise, strength over hesitation, purpose over drift, your reality begins to rearrange itself around that new command. The brain runs what it knows. It will repeat yesterday's code unless you interrupt it. You cannot think like a victim and live like a leader. You cannot feed your mind excuses and expect excellence. Whoever sits at the controls of your thoughts, fear, doubt, or belief, decides the direction of your life. When responsibility replaces blame, momentum begins. Your mind is not neutral ground. If you don't feed it, it fills itself with worry, comparison, and regret. Repeat them long enough, and they sound like truth. Not because you lack ability, but because you never challenge the story keeping you small. Your first task is awareness. Catch your thoughts in real time. When fear says, "I'm not ready," replace it with, "I'll figure it out." When pressure whispers, "This is too hard," reply. Pressure builds power. Change begins with the inner sentence you choose. Your thoughts are electric impulses. Your emotions are magnetic fields. Together they broadcast a signal through your body and behavior. Attention tunes it. Repetition amplifies it. What you hold in mind, you move toward. Spiritually, this is alignment. Scientifically, it's focus. You don't rise to your dreams. You rise to the level of your disciplined thought. Discipline here is quiet, consistent, precise, cleaning your mental space before the mess owns you. Many of your thoughts were inherited from rooms you didn't choose, families that feared success, peers that mocked ambition. You are not obligated to carry their limitations forward. Not every thought deserves attention. Upgrade the conversation inside your head. Replace "I always fail" with "I adapt quickly." Identity grows where evidence accumulates. Each time you follow through, you build proof. Proof builds belief. Belief fuels action, and action reshapes your world. This is your turning point to live by default or by design. Your future won't negotiate with old patterns. It will obey the ones you train now. Everything begins in the quiet physics of thought and the steady energy of decision. Everything starts here. Chapter 1. Control what you think before it controls you. The mind is not just a space for thinking. It is the command center of your entire existence. Every action, reaction, and pattern in your life originates from a single thought. Before the body moves, before the words are spoken, before the habit is formed, a spark has already fired in your neural field. That spark is thought. And if you do not choose which sparks to allow, they will set wildfires of chaos on their own. The ancients said, "As within, so without." Modern neuroscience says the same thing in different language. Your internal model of the world becomes your external experience. The electrical pulses that move through your brain are small microvolts, but they direct every behavior, emotion, and outcome you produce. If you don't lead those impulses, they lead you. If you don't train your thinking, it trains you. The mind left unguarded becomes the architect of mediocrity. Every decision you've made began as a thought pattern. Every belief you hold was once a sentence repeated enough times to feel like truth. And every future you'll step into is already being written by the quality of your mental dialogue right now. The formula is brutally honest. Small thoughts equal small life. Weak thoughts equal weak actions. Doubtful thoughts equal delayed destiny. You can't expect courage from a mind fed on fear. You can't expect focus from a mind addicted to distraction. And you can't expect freedom from a mind that clings to limitation. The law is simple, but absolute. What you think about continuously, you create energetically. That is not poetry, it's physics. Energy follows attention. Where attention flows, electrical current and emotion follow. The longer you keep your attention on worry, the stronger that worry becomes as a living pattern in your nervous system. You are the gatekeeper. Every idea, every belief, every fear, knocking on the door of your awareness is asking for residence. Most people let them all in. They host chaos, self-criticism, doubt, and guilt as permanent guests. But the sovereign mind learns to filter. Not every visitor deserves entry. Ask every thought, does this build my strength or drain it? Does it elevate my energy or scatter it? That single moment of awareness separates the conscious from the unconscious, the leader from the drifter. Your life today is the visible echo of the thoughts you repeated yesterday. If you want a new outcome, the architecture must begin inside. That means you no longer think by accident. You think by intention. You don't let the media, the crowd, or your past write your inner script. You write it yourself word by word, emotion by emotion. But discipline of thought is not suppression. It's transformation. Weak thinkers try to fight their negative thoughts. Strong thinkers replace them. You can't out-argue fear, but you can out-focus it. When a fearful thought appears, what if I fail? Don't wrestle it. Replace it with, what if this is the beginning of mastery? Your brain will believe whichever one you repeat more often. Every time you choose a stronger thought, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with strength. Every time you indulge a weak thought, you strengthen weakness. That's neuroplasticity. Your brain is sculpted by repetition. Every inner sentence is a brushstroke on the architecture of your mind. The mind becomes what it practices. So practice sovereignty. Stop renting your mental space to worry and comparison. Build your own inner environment, a space that vibrates with clarity and direction. Picture your thoughts as frequencies. Low-frequency thoughts feel heavy, guilt, envy, fear. High-frequency thoughts feel light, gratitude, discipline, vision. The more time you spend in high vibration, the faster your outer world rearranges to match it. You start noticing opportunities that were invisible before. People respond differently. Coincidences line up like dominoes. Nothing mystical, just resonance. Be ruthless about what you allow to repeat. Because repetition is ritual. Ritual becomes belief. Belief becomes behavior. Behavior becomes destiny. When you realize this, you stop chasing outcomes and start mastering input. You stop asking, when will things change? And start asking, what am I thinking consistently? The moment your thinking changes, your trajectory does too. Remember this truth. Your mind does not know the difference between an external experience and an internally rehearsed one. Visualize power, and your neurons fire as if it's already happening. Visualize strength, and your nervous system begins calibrating to that signal. You can literally rehearse the person you want to become. Every thought is a rehearsal for your next reality. So each morning ask yourself, what frequency am I tuning to today? Am I feeding noise or focus? Am I operating from fear or from truth? You are not a slave to your thoughts. You are their creator. The mind is a field, and you are the gardener. If you don't plant consciously, weeds grow automatically. From this point forward, be the one who decides what gets planted. No more accidental thinking, no more passive worry, no more mental clutter pretending to be reality. The world outside you is an echo of the world inside you. Change the echo by changing the source. Your mind is your kingdom. Guard it, lead it, shape it, and it will return the favor by building you a life that matches your mastery. This is where control begins. When you control what you think, before it controls you, you unlock the first law of creation. Energy obeys clarity. Chapter 2. Change your thinking. Change your life. Every shift in your life begins as a shift in your perception. You cannot change your circumstances without first changing the lens through which you see them. The mind is both filter and projector. It does not only receive reality, it creates it. What you consistently think about becomes what you consistently experience. And what you consistently experience becomes who you believe yourself to be. That's why most people stay trapped in cycles. They work harder, chase new habits, start new projects, even move to new places, but inside, they are running the same mental program. They are trying to live a new life with an old operating system. And an outdated program cannot produce an upgraded result. Real transformation is not about doing more. It's about thinking differently. When your thoughts change, your emotional frequency changes. When your emotional frequency changes, your behavior changes. And when your behavior changes, your life follows. This is the invisible chain of creation: thought, emotion, action, outcome. Most people try to fix the outcome without fixing the origin. They patch the surface but never touch the source. You can't rearrange the external world while your internal world remains the same. You must rewire your mind first. So, what does it mean to truly change your thinking? It means to become the observer instead of the actor. Step outside your automatic reactions. Watch your thoughts as they appear, not to judge them, but to recognize their patterns. Ask yourself, who is speaking right now? Fear, past conditioning, or conscious awareness? That single question interrupts the trance. Awareness is the first light that dissolves illusion. The spiritual truth is this: thoughts are energy, and energy seeks resonance. Whatever frequency you broadcast through consistent thought becomes the frequency your life aligns to. Think limitation, and you attract circumstances that confirm it. Think clarity, and you attract people and opportunities that match it. This is not superstition, it's resonance physics. Your thoughts vibrate at measurable frequencies. Your heart emits a magnetic field that extends beyond your body. Together, they form an electromagnetic signature that draws similar patterns into your field. Modern neuroscience agrees. The reticular activating system in your brain acts as a filter, scanning billions of bits of information every second and highlighting only what aligns with your dominant thoughts and emotions. When you decide, I'm building discipline, your RAS starts noticing evidence and opportunities that reinforce that belief. When you say, I'm not enough, it filters for proof that you're right. Your brain is not biased toward truth. It is biased toward familiarity. So, make your highest thoughts the most familiar ones you have. This is why repeating empowering ideas is not corny. It's crucial. Each repetition strengthens neural pathways and weakens the old ones. Think of your mind as a forest. The paths you walk most become clear. The ones you abandon grow over. If you keep walking the same trail of doubt and fear, you will never discover the field of possibility waiting just beyond it. You must cut a new path with conscious thought, again and again, until it becomes your default landscape. When you start changing your thinking, you may feel resistance. That's natural. The old self will fight for survival. Your brain prefers the comfort of what's known, even if it hurts you. But this is where your awareness becomes weapon and shield. Instead of believing the resistance, observe it. Smile at it. It's proof that growth is happening. The moment you start hearing the voice of limitation, you can't. You've failed before. It's too late. Answer it with new language. This time I understand more. This time I move with clarity. This time I'm awake. Change begins in the instant you stop identifying with the thought and start recognizing yourself as the thinker. You are not your mind. You are the consciousness behind it. The mind is a tool. You are the one holding it. Use it, don't obey it. Now merge this understanding with action. Awareness without movement is just insight without embodiment. Once you recognize a pattern, rewrite it through choice. If your thought says, "I'll never be consistent," prove it wrong with a small act of consistency today. Each act becomes a data point that your subconscious cannot ignore. Over time, these new signals overwrite the old code. This is the science of neuroplasticity. Your brain reorganizes itself through experience. The more you act in alignment with a new thought, the stronger the neural network becomes. The old connections weaken, the new ones solidify. It's not magic, it's measurable biology. And spiritually, it's evolution, your consciousness reorganizing itself toward a higher coherence. Remember, you cannot rise into a new reality while arguing for your old one. You can't keep reciting stories of limitation and expect freedom to appear. Every sentence you speak is a command. Every belief you repeat is a doorway you either open or close. When you say, "I am becoming disciplined," you activate that potential. When you say, "I'll never change," you deactivate it. So speak the future into the present. Think from your destination, not toward it. Feel now what you want to feel when you arrive. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your frequency. And if you ever doubt that your thinking matters, pause and look around. Every structure, invention, and movement that exists on this planet was once a thought. Everything begins in the unseen. You are not excluded from that truth. Your reality is an echo of your inner conversation. Change that conversation, and everything begins to move. Think better, feel deeper, act stronger. The world will follow. You've stayed with the message this long. That says something about your focus. Subscribe if you're building that kind of strength intentionally. Chapter 3. Train your mind to believe in your strength. Most people are not weak. They are simply untrained in belief. The human mind is infinitely capable, but it will never operate at full potential under a story of limitation. Strength does not begin in your muscles or your willpower. It begins in your perception of yourself. You act only as powerfully as you think you are. You rise only as far as you believe you can rise. Belief is not wishful thinking. It is the frequency of certainty, a quiet conviction that moves through your entire system. And it can be built the same way a muscle is built, through repetition, resistance, and recovery. Every time you choose belief over doubt, you strengthen the neural pathway of resilience. Every time you give up, you strengthen the circuitry of surrender. The mind learns through evidence, and you are providing that evidence every day through your choices. Think about it. Your subconscious mind records everything. It notices when you say you'll do something and follow through. It also notices when you break your word. Each moment becomes a vote, either for your strength or against it. Eventually, your identity is built on the side that wins more votes. That is why even small promises matter. When you keep them, you teach your brain that your word has weight. And when your word has weight, your confidence no longer depends on external validation. The untrained mind looks outward for proof, for someone to say, "You can." The trained mind looks inward and says, "I already am." This is the point where motivation ends and mastery begins. Motivation is borrowed fire. Belief is self-sustaining fuel. When you train your mind to believe in your strength, you no longer need the perfect mood, the perfect timing, or anyone's permission. You act because belief has already given you authority. Scientifically, belief alters physiology. The placebo effect proves it. When the brain believes healing is happening, it triggers biochemical cascades that mirror real healing. In the same way, when you believe strength lives within you, your body responds. Neurotransmitters adjust. Hormones shift. Muscles recruit more efficiently. Your biology listens to your belief. This is not spiritual fantasy. It's measurable cause and effect. Spiritually, belief is energy coherence. Every time you affirm your capability, your energy field strengthens, becoming more stable, more luminous, more magnetic. Doubt is dissonance. It scatters energy. Belief aligns it. That's why people who truly believe in themselves change the energy of a room. They're not louder, they're clearer. Their frequency is ordered. To build belief, you must train it deliberately. Start with awareness. Notice how often your mind argues for your limitations. "I can't do that. That's not me. I'm not ready." Each time you catch it, pause. Replace the phrase with something that honors your potential. "I can learn this. I'm expanding into this version." Readiness is created by doing. Don't wait to feel confident before you start until you feel confident. Next, create evidence. The brain doesn't trust empty affirmations, but it believes what it can measure. So build proof. Finish what you start, even in small things. Show up 5 minutes earlier than you said you would. Keep one promise every day. Every completion is a signal that reinforces your belief loop. "I said I would, and I did." Over time, these signals merge into a new self-image, one that is reliable, strong, and steady. When you hear the inner voice whisper, "You're not enough," don't argue. Observe it. That voice is not truth. It's memory. It's an echo of old experiences, recorded by a nervous system that once tried to protect you. Thank it and replace it. You can say quietly, "I'm safe to grow now." The nervous system listens to safety first. When it feels secure, belief can expand without resistance. Understand this. Your mind is not your enemy. It's your apprentice. It will obey whichever thoughts you feed it most consistently. Feed it with fear, it learns to freeze. Feed it with trust, it learns to move. You are programming yourself constantly, whether you realize it or not. Conscious belief building is simply deciding to program yourself with intention. When doubt appears, remember how many times you have already survived what you thought would break you. You have overcome, adapted, and rebuilt more than you give yourself credit for. Let those memories be your evidence. Belief grows faster when rooted in truth. And the truth is, you've always been stronger than your fears. There's an energetic principle at play here. Energy follows attention, but it also follows identity. When you say, "I am strong," You align your vibration with strength. When you say I am weak, you align with fragility. The I am statements are creative commands. Speak them carefully. Speak them deliberately. They are not affirmations. They are activations. Each morning, give your mind its instruction. Today, I lead with strength. Today, I respond with calm. Today, I move with discipline. These are not just words, they are neural and energetic codes. Repeat them long enough, and your body begins to memorize them. You walk differently. You speak differently. People treat you differently because energy communicates before words ever do. And on the days when belief feels far away, when your mind drags you into the past, or the weight of uncertainty grows heavy, breathe. Center yourself. Whisper, even now, I still choose belief. Because the act of choosing in the middle of doubt is the training itself. Remember, the world doesn't reward the most talented or the luckiest. It rewards the most aligned, those whose thoughts, words, and actions move in one direction. Belief is that alignment. It is the invisible structure holding your growth together. You don't need to search for strength. You need to stop doubting the one you already carry. Every time you trust your own hand to act, your mind expands its definition of possible. Train your mind in this truth until it becomes instinct, until belief is no longer something you reach for, it's something you stand on. Because when you train your mind to believe in your strength, life stops testing your weakness. It starts reflecting your power. Chapter 4. Think like the person you want to become. Transformation doesn't begin when your results change. It begins the moment your identity changes, when you stop thinking like the person who is trying and start thinking like the person who already is. Your life is a mirror of your identity. Not the identity you post, but the one you rehearse in silence. The version of you that narrates your every move. Every decision you make, every risk you avoid, every limit you enforce is shaped by who you believe you are. So if you want a new reality, you must start by embodying a new identity, mentally, energetically, emotionally, before the world ever confirms it. Most people wait for proof. They wait until the money arrives, until someone validates them, until circumstances align. But that's backward. The universe doesn't deliver belief, it reflects it. The world responds to your energetic signature, not your excuses. Start thinking like the person you're becoming now, not when it's convenient. If the future version of you is confident, how would they think in this moment of doubt? If they are disciplined, how would they act when motivation disappears? If they are calm and grounded, how would they breathe when everything feels uncertain? This is not pretending. This is preparation. You are training your nervous system to match your higher frequency. Your mind is programmable. It doesn't wait for the world to change. It changes the world by deciding what reality it wants to perceive. When you think from your future identity, your brain begins to rewire itself accordingly. Neurons that fire together wire together. Every visualization, every repeated sentence, every consistent emotion of certainty strengthens that network. Soon, what was once imagination becomes instinct. Visualize the future version of yourself with precision. See how they wake up. Feel how they move through a challenge. Hear how they speak. Notice how they respond to chaos with calm, to criticism with composure, to pressure with power. Visualization is not fantasy. It's cognitive rehearsal. It's your brain's way of pre-installing the software of success. When the moment arrives, you no longer have to try to be that person you already are. You don't need to wait for external permission. Decide internally, that your evolution has already started. The timeline bends to your clarity. You are not becoming someday, you are remembering now. Spiritual science calls this quantum identity collapse, the moment you release the old self-image and embody the energy of your desired state. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align in coherence, the universe reorganizes to mirror that vibration. Physically, this is your brain entering beta-gamma synchronization, a state of intense focus and creative flow. Spiritually, it's the field of infinite potential, bending toward your decision. But here's what most people miss. Thinking like your future self means holding integrity, even when no one's watching. It means staying aligned with your higher standard, not your current comfort. The future you doesn't chase validation. They move from inner authority. They don't react impulsively to every opinion. They choose responses that serve their vision. When you think like that now, you bridge the gap between who you are and who you intend to be. And yes, your environment may not yet match your new mindset. People might question you. Circumstances might test you. That's normal. The old frequency will try to pull you back. But that tension is proof of transformation. The universe is asking, are you sure? Each time you respond with alignment instead of doubt, you send a new command into the field. Yes, I am. Ask yourself throughout the day, what would the highest version of me do right now? Would they scroll aimlessly or study with intention? Would they complain about lack or create from gratitude? Would they shrink in fear or speak with clarity? Your answers decide your frequency, and your frequency decides your future. You can't think sloppy and expect precision in your results. You can't think weak and expect strength in your actions. The mind is the mold, and life is the casting. Every upgrade begins in thought. So think in alignment. Think deliberately. Think as though you've already stepped into the life you desire. Because the moment your inner world becomes coherent, your outer world begins to follow the blueprint. Your thoughts are not passengers. They are architects. Each one sketches a line on the blueprint of your destiny. Start drafting consciously. Each time you think from your higher self, you're building the structure that future you will live inside. And soon the question will no longer be, when will I become that person? The answer will be evident. You already are. Chapter 5. Choose better thoughts and build a better life. Every morning when your eyes open, a stream of thoughts rushes in before you even take your first conscious breath. Most of them are not new. They are echoes, the same sentences you've repeated for years. The same worries, the same doubts, the same mental habits you mistake for you. But here's the truth, they're not you. They're just programming. And the quality of your programming determines the quality of your life. You don't need to control every thought. You just need to choose which ones get your attention. Because attention is fuel. Whatever thought you feed with focus becomes stronger. Whatever you starve loses power. That's how you begin to build a better life, by choosing better thoughts on purpose, with discipline. Better thoughts are not just positive ones. They are useful ones. They move you toward clarity, action, and alignment. A better thought doesn't have to sound sweet. Sometimes it sounds like truth. This is hard, but I can learn. I made a mistake, but I'm improving. I'm scared, but I'm still moving. That's not fantasy. That's conscious strength. Weak thinking avoids reality. Strong thinking transforms it. A better thought looks reality in the eye and says, "You don't scare me. You inform me." Your brain listens to everything you say to yourself. Each statement releases chemistry hormones, neurotransmitters, and emotions that ripple through your entire body. Say, "I'm overwhelmed," and cortisol rises. Say, "I'm centered," and your breath deepens. Words are not just sounds, they are signals. They trigger physiological and energetic changes. Spiritual science calls this vibrational alignment. The words you repeat most often create an energetic tone. That tone becomes your personal frequency, and the universe synchronizes with it. Life echoes your language. So if you want a higher experience, upgrade your inner vocabulary. Choosing better thoughts is like tuning an instrument. At first, you'll notice dissonance, the old patterns resisting the new melody. You might catch yourself thinking, "This isn't working." But that's just the noise of transition. Keep tuning. Keep adjusting. Soon the frequency stabilizes, and what once felt unnatural becomes your new normal. Here's the process. Notice. Catch your recurring thoughts. Awareness breaks the autopilot. Name. Identify whether each thought builds or breaks your energy. Neutralize. Don't argue with negative thoughts, reframe them. "I'm stuck" becomes, "I'm learning how to move forward." Nurture. Repeat your new thought until it feels natural. Emotionally charge it with gratitude or calm. The subconscious memorizes feelings faster than words. Understand this: a single thought can shift your emotional state, and your emotional state is the magnet of your reality. Think better. Feel better. Act better. It's a perfect loop. You might say, "But I can't help how I feel." You can. Feelings are the body's reaction to thoughts. Change the thoughts and the feeling follows, not instantly, but inevitably. You are not a prisoner of your emotions. You are the architect of them. If you think you're powerless, your body prepares for defeat. Shoulders drop. Breath shortens. Eyes dull. But if you think "I am capable," your body straightens. Your heart rhythm stabilizes. The same way a seed responds to sunlight, your biology responds to thought. That's how intertwined mind and matter are. Neuroscience calls this the top-down effect: cognition influencing emotion, which influences behavior, which influences outcome. Spiritual tradition calls it as above, so below. Both mean the same thing: what you hold above in mind, you experience below in life. So if you wake up thinking, "Nothing ever works out for me," your day will find ways to confirm it. Not because the universe is cruel, but because your brain filters experience through that lens. But if you begin with, "I am open to good things today," your reticular activating system starts scanning for proof of that. It's not delusion, it's design. You're telling your brain what to notice. Better thoughts build better patterns. Better patterns build better choices. Better choices build better days. That's how transformation happens, not through luck, but through consistent internal architecture. To choose better thoughts, you must also manage your mental diet. Be careful what you let in. Every conversation, every scroll, every sound shapes the quality of your thinking. Garbage and confusion out. Wisdom and clarity out. The mind digests information the way the body digests food. If you wouldn't eat poison, don't consume it mentally either. And remember, it's not about perfection. You will still have bad days, intrusive thoughts, moments of doubt. But now, you meet them differently. You recognize them as old frequencies passing through, not permanent truths. You no longer drown in them. You let them pass, like weather through a clear sky. You don't need to think perfectly. You just need to think better, more often. 1 degree of improvement repeated consistently changes the entire trajectory of your life. Every strong life begins with one strong thought, repeated until it becomes character. So choose deliberately. Choose thoughts that build you. Choose thoughts that remind you of your direction. Choose thoughts that make you proud to be alive inside your own mind. Because when your thinking becomes better, your life can't help but rise to meet it. Chapter 6. Reject weak thoughts and replace them with action. Weak thoughts grow in stillness. They multiply in hesitation, in overthinking, in the empty space between decision and movement. You know the pattern. You have an idea, an impulse, a spark of inspiration, and then the voice appears. You're not ready. What if you fail? Someone else is already doing it. Within seconds, that spark is drowned in self-doubt. The tragedy isn't that the thought appeared. It's that you believed it long enough to stop. Weak thoughts are not proof that you're broken. They are the mind's way of protecting you from risk. But protection easily turns into paralysis. If you never move, you never get hurt, but you also never grow. The antidote is simple, but not easy movement. Weak thoughts cannot survive inside momentum. They dissolve in motion. Action is the medicine of the mind. The instant you begin doing even something small, you change the chemistry of your brain. Dopamine and adrenaline shift your focus from fear to progress. Blood moves, breath deepens, the fog clears. This is how energy transforms, not by thinking harder, but by doing stronger. The spiritual principle behind this is transmutation. Energy that isn't expressed becomes suppressed. When fear rises, move it. Channel it into creation discipline, or even simple movement. Fear that's acted through becomes fuel. Fear that's resisted becomes a cage. Every moment of hesitation is a crossroads. On one path is the comfort of delay. On the other, the discomfort of action. One keeps you safe. The other makes you alive. The mind will always choose safety unless you intervene. That's why the strongest people don't wait to feel ready. They train themselves to move first. The feeling catches up later. Stop negotiating with weak thoughts. They will never give you permission. You can't debate fear into silence, but you can drown it with movement. You can't convince doubt to leave, but you can make it irrelevant by acting while it's speaking. The moment your body moves, your mind starts to follow. When a weak thought says, "You're not good enough," respond with evidence, "Do one thing anyway." When it says, "You don't know how," answer, "Then I'll learn." When it says, "You might fail," say, "Then I'll collect data." That's how warriors think, not in guarantees, but in growth. Understand this: the mind is a servant, not a master. It learns from what you do, not from what you intend. Every action sends a command to your subconscious. This is who I am. Sit still, and it learns to associate thinking with fear. Move, and it learns to associate challenge with confidence. Over time, the brain begins to rewire. Action reshapes identity. Stoic philosophy and neuroscience agree. Here, courage is not the absence of fear. It's the discipline to act despite it. Emotion follows motion. You don't wait to feel confident before acting. You act until confidence becomes natural. This is also energetic law. Energy amplifies what's in motion. A river stays clear because it moves. Stagnant water rots. The same applies to your mind. If you let fear stop your flow, your energy decays into anxiety. But when you move, the energy purifies itself through experience. That's how clarity returns. Start small, but start now. Send the message, write one line, step outside, make the call. Every time you replace a weak thought with even a tiny action, you reclaim ground inside your own mind. It's not about speed, it's about direction. Each micro-action is a declaration to the universe: I choose strength. And here's the hidden truth: the more you act, the quieter fear becomes. The brain learns through pattern recognition. If you've repeatedly acted through fear and survived, the nervous system stops treating fear as a threat. What used to feel terrifying becomes ordinary. That's how transformation feels, not like fireworks, but like peace. You don't build belief through thinking, you build it through proof. Every step is evidence. Every completed task is a neural message saying, "See, I can handle it." This accumulation of proof builds an unshakable foundation. Soon you stop asking, "Can I do this?" because your system already knows the answer. Weak thoughts are not enemies. They are signals, reminders of where you still need to move. When they appear, smile. Say, "Thank you for the signal," and take one step forward. Movement is the language the universe understands. Action is the vibration that communicates intention. You can meditate, visualize, and plan, but until your feet move, nothing changes. Creation responds to demonstration, not discussion. So act, move, build momentum. Even when your mind screams, "Stop," whisper back, "Watch me." Because when you reject weak thoughts and replace them with action, you teach your mind a new truth. You are not fragile. You are focused. You are capable. And you are in motion. Chapter 7. Guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Your mind is the sacred center through which all creation flows. Every goal, every relationship, every vision, every ounce of peace you will ever experience begins there. Yet most people guard everything except their mind. They secure their house lock, their phone, hide their passwords, but leave their mental gate wide open for anyone and anything to walk through. Understand this. Your mind is an ecosystem. It can grow forests of brilliance or swamps of confusion, depending on what you allow to enter. Every conversation, every video, every complaint you listen to, they all plant something. Thoughts are seeds, and exposure is soil. You become the sum of the ideas you tolerate. The modern world is loud. Every second information fights for access to your attention. And every time you consume something mindlessly, you're granting permission for that energy to shape your perception. This is why your peace feels fractured. You are overstimulated, but underprotected. You're listening to too many voices that do not live your life, do not carry your vision, do not pay the price for your distraction. You must become the gatekeeper. Not everything deserves entry. Not every message is neutral. There is no harmless input. Everything you watch, read, or engage with is influencing your frequency. Some things raise it. Some things rot it. Guarding your mind isn't about isolation. It's about calibration. The science is simple. Mirror neurons replicate the behavior and energy of what they observe. Spend time around anger, and your brain normalizes irritation. Surround yourself with growth, and your neurons mirror expansion. This is how influence works silently, automatically. Spiritual tradition has said it for millennia. You become what you behold. Guarding your mind means curating your environment like an artist curates a gallery. You wouldn't hang garbage on the walls of your consciousness. So stop letting toxic ideas rent space in your awareness. Every negative news loop, every gossip, every self-deprecating joke, it's programming you to vibrate lower, think smaller, and doubt longer. Choose consciously what your inner world consumes. You don't need to absorb every opinion. You don't need to respond to every message. You don't need to carry other people's chaos as your own. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. You are responsible for your energy, not everyone else's. Spiritually, your mind is your temple. You decide what rituals take place inside it. If fear prays, there, courage must evict it. If doubt whispers, their truth must speak louder. Cleaning your temple doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means creating space for wisdom to breathe. Guarding your mind also means watching how you speak to yourself. The most dangerous intruder isn't external. It's the voice inside that you've left unchallenged for too long. You would never let a stranger speak to someone you love the way you sometimes speak to yourself. That voice has been running unchecked, whispering you're not enough, and you've believed it because it sounds familiar. But familiar doesn't mean true. Here's the truth. Thoughts repeated are thoughts believed. So you must replace inner criticism with inner command. When the voice says, "You can't handle this answer," I can and I will. When it says, "You always fail," respond, "I always rise." This is not delusion, it's reprogramming. The brain's language is repetition. Say something often enough, and it becomes neural fact. Make your inner dialogue sacred. Speak to yourself as a leader speaks to their team with direction, accountability, and encouragement. You don't have to sugarcoat reality, but you must frame it with strength. Instead of, "This is impossible," say, "This will challenge me to evolve." Instead of, "I'm overwhelmed," say, "I'm expanding my capacity." Every reframe is an upgrade in mental architecture. Guarding your mind also requires daily cleansing. Just as you shower to remove physical dirt, you must clear mental residue. Meditate. Journal. Sit in silence. Observe your thoughts until they slow. The point isn't to stop thinking. It's to stop being ruled by them. The calm that follows is not emptiness. It's clarity returning home. Remember, your mental state is your energetic broadcast. The clearer it is, the more powerful it becomes. A disciplined mind doesn't need constant motivation. It moves from stillness, from knowing. When you protect your mind, your energy becomes pure signal, not static, not noise, just direction. Be careful who has access to your inner frequency. Some people are amplifiers, others are drainers. You will feel the difference in your nervous system. Protect your peace as if it's oxygen, because it is. So guard it with precision. Guard it with love. Guard it not out of fear, but out of respect for the creative power that flows through it. Your mind is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. Keep it clear. Keep it clean. Keep it sacred. Because if you don't choose what lives there, the world will. And the world is not careful with sacred things. Chapter 8. Speak words that build your confidence. The words you speak to yourself are building you or breaking you every single day. Long before the world ever believes in you, your voice decides your direction. Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you construct from language repetition and truth. Every phrase you allow inside your mind is an instruction. I can't handle this. I'm not ready. I'm not that kind of person. These are not innocent sentences. They're commands. The subconscious mind takes them literally and begins shaping behavior to match them. You move smaller. You hesitate more. You unconsciously prove your own doubts right. That's how most people weaken themselves, not through lack of ability, but through toxic narration. But here's the sacred secret words, our vibration. And vibration reorganizes matter. Every sound you speak sends waves through your nervous system, tuning your energy field higher or lower. When you say, "I am strong," your body straightens, your breath deepens, your brain releases chemicals of stability. When you say, "I can't," your posture collapses, and your biology mirrors defeat. You are not just talking, you are programming. Ancient spiritual traditions called this the law of logos creation, through word. Science calls it neuro-linguistic conditioning. Both mean the same thing. Language directs consciousness. The words you speak most often become the architecture of your mind. So if you want to build confidence, begin with construction material that supports it. Replace self-criticism with conscious command. Instead of saying, "I always mess up," say, "I always learn." Instead of "I'm bad at this," say, "I'm getting better at this." It's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about framing reality in a way that strengthens you instead of weakening you. The strongest people don't silence their self-doubt. They outtalk it. They use language as leverage. They understand that the inner voice is not a diary. It's a direction. If that voice says, "I can," you'll act accordingly. If it says, "I can't," your body won't even try. Start monitoring your speech like it's sacred. Every time you say, "I am," pause. What follows is a spell. I am tired. I am lost. I am broken. Those statements are declarations to your subconscious, but so are "I am learning." I am guided. I am becoming stronger. Speak what you wish to strengthen. Every repetition lays another brick in the foundation of your confidence. If you want to accelerate this process, write your own declarations. Keep them precise, physical, and powerful. I handle pressure with calm. I move with purpose. I finish what I start. Say them out loud every day, especially when you least feel like it. The moments you resist are the moments the mind is rewiring. Neuroscience explains, this clearly repeated language activates the same neural networks that repetition of action does. Over time, the brain begins to treat what you say as what you are. It's not superstition, it's circuitry. You're turning language into identity. Now take it deeper. Pair your words with emotion. The subconscious doesn't just listen to what you say, it listens to how you feel when you say it. Say, "I am powerful," with conviction, and your energy field expands. Say it flatly, and it stays theoretical. Speak as if your soul is reminding your body who it already is. There will be days when you don't believe what you're saying. Speak it anyway. Words are not affirmations. They are alignments. Each one calls your scattered energy back into coherence. Every time you repeat, "I can handle this," you're signaling to the universe, to your brain, and to your body that the signal of strength is still alive. Remember, the mind loves repetition, not reason. It doesn't need to believe something at first. It just needs to hear it enough to accept it as normal. That's why you must keep speaking strength until it sounds like home. Confidence is not arrogance. It is self-trust. It is the energy of someone who knows that whatever happens, they will figure it out. And that kind of trust is built word by word, day by day. So speak to yourself the way a leader would speak to their team, firmly, clearly, and with faith. When you fall short, don't curse yourself, coach yourself. When you doubt, don't shrink, speak louder. When you feel small, remember you are the only voice inside your mind that can declare expansion. Your words are building worlds both inside and outside of you. Don't waste them on self-sabotage. Use them as tools for creation. Every morning before the noise of the world begins, whisper strength into your system. I am focused. I am capable. I am grounded. I am becoming. Speak this until it stops feeling like hope and starts feeling like memory. Because the moment your language changes, your reality begins to reorganize itself to match it. Your voice is your architect. Your words are your walls. Your confidence is the house you live in. Build it wisely. Chapter 9. Clean out thoughts that slow down your progress. Progress doesn't always fail because of lack of effort. More often, it stalls because your mental space is overcrowded. You're trying to run forward while dragging the weight of yesterday's fears, regrets, and assumptions. No matter how disciplined your schedule or how ambitious your goals. If your mind is cluttered, your energy will move like it's walking through water. You can't move fast with emotional debris in your field. Those lingering thoughts, the guilt for what you didn't do, the resentment for what happened, the old voices that still echo when you're quiet, they all take up bandwidth. You can't receive clarity if your mind is full of noise. You can't feel peace while arguing with ghosts. The first step to acceleration is subtraction. Imagine your mind as a room you've lived in for years. You've collected furniture from every era of your life, some useful, most not. There are broken chairs of old beliefs, heavy wardrobes of outdated identities, dusty corners of fears that don't even belong to you. Cleaning doesn't mean burning the room down. It means opening the windows, letting in light, and deciding what stays because it serves you and what goes because it doesn't. Start with awareness. Notice what thoughts keep looping. Which ones drain your energy just by thinking them? Which memories replay without teaching you anything new? Which imagined futures only create anxiety, not inspiration? Write them down. Get them out of your head and onto paper. Seeing them externally breaks their spell. Then ask, does this thought help me grow or hold me back? If it helps, nurture it. If it holds you, release it. Not every thought deserves your attention, just as not every visitor deserves a seat at your table. Many of your heaviest thoughts were inherited, absorbed from parents, teachers, culture, or old versions of yourself who didn't know better. They spoke in fear, and you learned to translate that fear as truth. But you are not required to keep carrying their language. You can outgrow an old mindset without rejecting your past. Thank it for getting you here. Then upgrade the system. Scientific truth supports this. The brain clings to familiar neural pathways, even when they're painful, because familiarity feels safe. Spiritual truth adds energy trapped in memory, stays dense until it's acknowledged and released. Both mean the same thing. What you don't face, you repeat. What you face, you free. So look directly at your mental clutter. Don't hide from it. Don't judge it. Observe it with precision. Say, this pattern of guilt no longer serves me. This belief of not being enough is outdated code. This fear was never mine to keep. The act of naming what no longer belongs to you weakens its hold. And then replace. The mind cannot delete. It must overwrite. Fill the space you've cleared with thoughts that align with the life you are building. Turn I failed into I learned. Turn I'm behind into I'm refining. Turn I'll never be ready into I'm preparing through practice. Every new phrase becomes a command, and repetition turns command into character. Remember, cleaning your mind is not a one-time purge. It's daily hygiene. The world constantly throws dust into your awareness. Fear, comparison, pressure, noise. You can't stop the dust, but you can stop it from layering. 10 minutes of mental cleaning each day, reflection, meditation, journaling, can save you years of confusion. Also, protect what you let back in. Your mental clarity is precious. Don't refill your mind with the same noise you just cleared. Some conversations, media, and people act like clutter, disguised as company. Learn to say no gently but firmly. Every no to distraction is a yes to clarity. As you clean, you'll notice something miraculous. The silence between thoughts begins to expand. In that silence, creativity lives. Intuition whispers. Guidance appears. The path that felt complicated begins to reveal its next simple step. That's the reward of mental minimalism, awareness without friction. When you clear space inside, energy flows again. You feel lighter, faster, sharper. You stop hesitating, not because you have all the answers, but because you finally have room for answers to arrive. So today, clean out what slows you down. Let go of the thought that keeps apologizing for the past. Release the loop that keeps waiting for permission. Drop the story that confuses safety with smallness. You do not need to hold them to feel whole. In fact, holding them is what keeps you divided. Clean your mind like an artist cleans their canvas, not to erase the history, but to make space for new creation. Because every great work begins with a clear surface and a steady hand. Your thoughts are that canvas. Your awareness is the hand. And your life is the painting that follows. Stop dragging the weight of what was. Step into the space of what's possible. The cleaner your mind becomes, the faster your destiny moves toward you. Chapter 10. Think strong every day and watch life shift. Strength is not built in one moment of victory. It is built in the quiet repetition of powerful thinking. Every day you are given a sacred choice to think weak and drift through life, or to think strong and direct it. What you repeat internally, you eventually become externally. Strong thinking is not blind optimism. It's the conscious decision to think with stability when everything else feels uncertain. It's a mental posture, an energetic stance that says, I choose clarity over chaos. I choose composure over panic. I choose strength over surrender. Each morning before the world begins to pull at your focus, your mind opens like a blank page. That's when you decide the tone of your day. Most people hand that decision away to the news, to notifications, to memories of yesterday's mistakes. But those who rise, those who lead their life consciously, use the first few thoughts of the day to claim direction. They say to themselves, I will think strong today, no matter what I face. From a scientific view, this isn't just poetic, it's biological. The prefrontal cortex, the brain's center of decision and focus, is most impressionable early in the day. Whatever energy you feed, it becomes the filter for everything that follows. Start your morning with weakness and your nervous system learns hesitation. Start it with strength and your body moves in rhythm with purpose. To think strong doesn't mean to never doubt. It means that when doubt appears, you don't let it anchor you. You look at it, acknowledge it, and keep walking. Doubt loses power when you refuse to kneel before it. The same goes for fear. Fear multiplies in silence, but it shrinks when faced directly. Strong thinkers don't wait for courage, they generate it through clarity. Spiritual science calls this coherence, when your mind, heart, and energy field align in one direction. In this state, your electromagnetic frequency strengthens, literally changing the rhythm of your heartbeat and the charge of your aura. You become calm, focused, and resilient. You stop reacting and start responding. The world doesn't get quieter, you get steadier. And that steadiness is power. Because while everyone else is pulled by emotion, you become the still center of the storm. You don't need to fight every wave. You learn to ride them. You don't need to control every variable. You control your inner dialogue. That is strength, control of thought in the face of unpredictability. To think strong daily, create rituals that anchor your mind. Begin your day in silence before noise finds you. Write 3 strong truths. I am capable. I am centered. I am becoming. When something goes wrong, pause and breathe before reacting. When fear speaks, ask, is this a fact or a feeling? These simple habits create neurological grooves of steadiness. Over time, your default reaction becomes calm clarity. Thinking strong doesn't remove pain, but it transforms how you experience it. Pain becomes feedback instead of punishment. Pressure becomes proof of growth instead of threat. Every challenge becomes a mirror, showing where strength is still under construction. And when you think this way long enough, the outside world starts to shift. Not because it changed, but because you did. You stop wasting energy on meaningless battles. You attract conversations that match your mindset. You recognize opportunities that your old anxious mind would have missed. The secret is consistency. A single strong thought can lift you for a day. 1,000 strong thoughts repeated daily can redesign your life. That's how habits are formed, through repetition, until resistance fades. When you catch yourself slipping into negativity, don't shame yourself. Interrupt it. Replace it. Turn. This is too hard into, this is how I grow. Turn. I'm so tired into, I'm recharging through action. Your brain is programmable. It listens to your tone more than your words. Speak with conviction. Even when it feels forced, it's planting seeds that will grow into natural strength. Strong thinking is also contagious. When you hold steady energy, people around you feel it. You become a quiet anchor in a chaotic world. You don't need to preach strength. You transmit it. Your presence becomes medicine. Remember, life responds to your mental frequency. If you think in panic, you create turbulence. If you think in power, you create flow. Reality mirrors the emotional current you hold. So train your mind like you'd train a muscle. Feed it clean input. Rest it when it's overwhelmed. Challenge it with higher thoughts. Each repetition builds neural armor, invisible but unbreakable. When you think strong every day, you stop being surprised by adversity. You start expecting your ability to handle it. That's the quiet confidence of the awakened mind, not arrogance, not denial, but alignment with truth. I am stronger than what happens to me. That's the essence of evolution, not escaping challenge, but mastering response. So today, decide. Think strong when the world tests you. Think strong when the path is unclear. Think strong when you'd rather give up. Because the mind you strengthen daily will one day become the life you live effortlessly. And when that day comes, you'll realize the world didn't change. You did. Chapter 11. Transform pressure into power. Pressure is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your mirror, your forge. Every diamond began as carbon under unimaginable force. Every star is born from the collapse of itself. The same energy that crushes the weak refines the strong. The difference is not the weight, it's how you think beneath it. Most people pray for less pressure. The wise learn to breathe through it. Because pressure is life's way of introducing you to your capacity. It doesn't arrive to break you. It arrives to reveal you. Every challenge you face is a silent invitation from the universe saying, "Are you ready to discover how strong you really are?" When pressure comes, your mind has two choices: to shrink or to expand. Shrinking means reacting, falling into panic, self-blame, or avoidance. Expanding means observing, stepping back, breathing deeply, seeing the entire field before you act. That's not denial. That's mastery. Spiritual science explains this through the principle of energy transmutation. Every emotion carries a frequency, and that frequency can be transformed. Anxiety is energy without direction. The moment you give it purpose, action, focus, intention, it becomes fuel. The very electricity that once felt overwhelming turns into power, running your evolution. In neuroscience, this mirrors the stress response. The same cortisol that causes fear also heightens alertness. The same adrenaline that fuels anxiety can sharpen reaction. The difference is perception. When you label pressure as opportunity, your body shifts from survival mode to performance mode. So, next time life presses, you don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What strength is this trying to build in me?" Pressure is proof that something important is forming. You don't feel it when you're stagnant, only when you're expanding. Growth squeezes the ego. Transformation stretches the identity. Every time you level up, the old version of you resists because it knows it's about to dissolve. That discomfort you feel, it's rebirth in progress. Stop wishing for easier. Wish for stronger. Weak minds want relief. Strong minds want revelation. The more you practice seeing challenge as calibration, the less intimidated you become. You stop asking for lighter weights and start asking for cleaner form. Here's a truth most people miss. Pressure exposes what's unstable. It shows you what beliefs, habits, or boundaries weren't strong enough to hold your vision. It doesn't punish you. It highlights where your foundation needs reinforcement. That's not failure. That's feedback from the universe. When your mind begins to spiral under pressure, pause. Inhale through the nose, slow and deliberate. Feel your lungs expand. Then exhale through the mouth longer than the inhale. Do this until your nervous system starts to calm. You're not just breathing, you're regulating energy. This is the bridge between mind and matter. Once your breath steadies, your thoughts follow. Then ask 3 questions. What can I control right now? What can I learn from this moment? What strength will this situation demand that I've been avoiding? Write the answers. They become your blueprint for growth. Strong thinkers understand that pressure is sacred because it refines the soul's architecture. Without it, potential stays dormant. Fire purifies metal. Resistance builds muscle. Adversity carves wisdom. There is no evolution without friction. Cosmically speaking, pressure is compression energy gathering before transformation. The universe operates in cycles of expansion and contraction. Just before a star explodes into light, gravity pulls it inward. Your life works the same way. When things feel like they're collapsing, it's often because they're preparing to expand. You are not being buried. You are being planted. So when the weight feels unbearable, whisper to yourself, "This is my forge." Let the heat polish you, not destroy you. Let the resistance strengthen your core. Let the challenge awaken the hidden parts of you that ease could never reach. And remember this: the ability to stay calm under pressure is not natural, it's trained. It's the result of hundreds of moments where you chose stillness instead of panic, clarity instead of noise. That's mental strength, the discipline to stay aligned when chaos rises. You don't overcome pressure by avoiding it. You master it by entering it consciously with awareness, with breath, with faith in your ability to transmute energy into progress. So the next time life tightens its grip, don't curse it. Smile slightly and say, "I know what you're doing." Because you do. You're being shaped into something sharper, purer, and infinitely more powerful than before. Pressure doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you've always been. Chapter 12. Become the master of your inner state. The greatest achievement isn't wealth, recognition, or even success. It's mastery of your inner state. Because once you control your inner world, the outer world loses its power over you. Most people live in emotional reaction, allowing circumstances to dictate their peace. But those who evolve learn to create calm on command. That's the difference between living in chaos and living in alignment. Your inner state, your energy, focus, and emotional balance is the invisible infrastructure behind every choice you make. When it's stable, your mind thinks clearly, your intuition becomes louder, and your actions become efficient. When it's chaotic, even small problems feel catastrophic. You can't make wise decisions when your nervous system is on fire. To master your inner state, you must understand 2 truths. First, emotions are energy in motion. They are not permanent. They are frequencies passing through your field. Second awareness is the control center. The moment you observe a thought or feeling without reacting, you step into power. Observation separates you from identification. I feel anger is awareness. I am angry is attachment. One gives you choice. The other traps you in emotion. Most people spend their lives at the mercy of external triggers. Someone says something, and their peace vanishes. A delay happens, and their patience collapses. This is energetic slavery, letting outer events decide your inner vibration. But remember, the event is neutral. The interpretation is optional. Spiritual science calls this sovereignty of the field. It means your consciousness is the authority over what happens inside you. Modern neuroscience agrees between stimulus and response. There's a space, a measurable gap, where you can choose your reaction. In that space lies your evolution. Start practicing this mastery in small moments. When irritation rises, don't immediately express it. Breathe once and say silently, I'm observing energy. Feel it move through you, like weather passing over land. You are not the storm, you are the sky. The more you practice, the more your body learns that emotional waves can exist without controlling the shore. Next, learn to anchor your state. Find what restores your equilibrium quickly. Breathwork, stretching, journaling, silence, music, sunlight. These aren't luxuries. They're maintenance for your energy system. You recharge your phone daily. Do the same for your vibration. One of the most powerful tools is intentional breathing. Your breath is the remote control of your nervous system. Long, slow exhales signal safety to the brain. The moment you lengthen your breath, your body exits fight or flight and enters clarity. Use this whenever chaos arrives: meetings, arguments, deadlines, loss. One conscious breath can prevent 100 unconscious reactions. Another key is reprogramming self-talk. When your energy drops, your inner dialogue often turns negative. I can't do this. This is too much. Those sentences are triggers disguised as truth. Replace them with, I can handle this moment. I will move through this calmly. You're not lying. You're leading. Your words become commands to your nervous system. Over time, mastery feels like this stillness under pressure, awareness under emotion, clarity under chaos. You stop being pulled by every thought that crosses your mind. You stop identifying with every emotion that passes through your heart. You begin to live from center. And when you do, you discover something extraordinary. Peace was never the reward. It was your baseline. It was just buried under noise. From this space, your actions become deliberate. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop forcing outcomes and start influencing them. The universe mirrors your stability. When your energy is coherent, life flows with less resistance because your frequency stops fluctuating. Remember, control is not suppression. Mastery is not numbness. You're not ignoring emotion, you're guiding it. Just as a river gains power through direction, so does your energy when you stop letting it spill everywhere. So train daily. Before you speak, breathe. Before you judge, observe. Before you panic, remember you've survived every chaos before. You are the constant behind the changes. Your power was never outside you. It lives in the space between thought and reaction, sound and silence, pressure and peace. That's your throne. Sit there often. Rule from it always. When you master your inner state, the world can shake, but you don't crumble. Storms come, but your foundation stands. And that's not luck. That's leadership of the self. Chapter 13. Reprogram your energy through daily alignment. Your energy is your signature. Every thought, word, and emotion sends a frequency into the field around you, and life responds to that signal with matching experiences. If your energy is scattered, life feels unstable. If your energy is coherent, life begins to flow. This is not philosophy, it's physics. You are an electromagnetic being. Your heart produces a field measurable several feet beyond your body. Your thoughts emit waves. Your emotions give those waves strength. When mind and emotion contradict each other, when your head says yes, but your heart says no, your frequency becomes static. You send mixed signals to the universe, and it mirrors that confusion back as delay, friction, or chaos. Alignment means your inner world agrees with itself. Thought, feeling, and action move in one rhythm. When you achieve this, energy amplifies. That's why some people seem lucky. It's not luck. It's coherence. Their energy is organized around a single direction. To reprogram your energy, start small, but start daily. Alignment is not built in one epiphany. It's built in constant recalibration. Each morning, check your frequency before the world tunes it for you. Ask, what am I broadcasting right now? Fear or focus? Resistance or readiness? Don't judge the answer, just notice it. Awareness is the first correction. Then intentionally choose your energetic state. Feel the emotion that matches your goals before the results appear. Want success? Feel clarity and discipline. Want peace? Feel gratitude and surrender. Emotion is the magnet that pulls reality toward you. When you feel the future before it arrives, you become the signal that attracts it. Scientific studies on neuroplasticity show that your brain rewires itself according to what you repeatedly imagine with emotion. Visualize your ideal outcome vividly. The sights, sounds, sensations, and pair it with calm certainty. You're not pretending. You're instructing your nervous system to expect that reality. The brain doesn't differentiate between deep visualization and physical experience. It begins creating internal chemistry that matches the image. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, your future's emotions rehearsed now. On the spiritual level, this is the law of resonance. Energy does not chase, it attracts. When your vibration matches the life you seek, circumstances rearrange themselves naturally. You won't need to force, you'll magnetize. But remember, alignment is fragile when unguarded. You cannot maintain high vibration while feeding low-quality input. What you consume, watch, listen to, and repeat becomes the diet of your energy field. Garbage thoughts produce garbage frequency. Protect your signal by curating your intake. Spend more time with silence than with noise, more time in creation than in consumption. The next step is grounding your energy. Manifestation without grounding leads to burnout. Grounding is the art of embodying your frequency, turning thoughts into movement. Walk barefoot on the earth. Feel your feet connect to stability. Move your body with intention. Stretch, train, breathe. Physical movement locks energy into form. And above all, consistency builds momentum. Energy, like water, flows where attention goes. You cannot focus on fear half the day and expect faith to lead you. The universe doesn't listen to occasional intention. It listens to persistent vibration. 5 minutes of conscious alignment every morning is worth more than 5 hours of forced positivity once a week. If you lose your alignment during the day, and you will, don't panic. Simply return. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale the tension. Say quietly, I return to center. Feel yourself recalibrate. The universe doesn't judge you for falling off balance. It responds instantly when you realign. When you practice this daily, your energy begins to stabilize. You notice synchronicities, the right person calling the perfect timing, appearing problems dissolving with unexpected ease. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. Energy alignment is not about control. It's about connection. When your inner current matches the current of life, things move effortlessly. Effort becomes flow. Work becomes creation. Time feels less like a race and more like a rhythm. Understand this truth deeply. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So become the frequency of what you seek. Live, breathe, and speak as if the life you desire is already yours, because energetically it is. The moment your energy aligns, reality has no choice but to catch up. So start today. Clean your signal, focus your emotion, ground your intention. Repeat until coherence feels like home. Your energy is the language the universe speaks. When you learn to communicate clearly, the world listens. Chapter 14. Discipline is divine energy in form. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it's punishment, a rigid set of rules, a cage that limits freedom. But in truth, discipline is freedom. It's divine energy structured into motion. It's the invisible bridge between intention and manifestation. Without it, energy scatters. With it, energy becomes creation. Every dream, no matter how spiritual or cosmic, still needs form to exist in this dimension. Thought is the blueprint. Emotion is the fuel. But disciplined, consistent action aligned with purpose is the builder. That's how the invisible becomes visible. Think of discipline as devotion, not to an external God, but to your own becoming. Every time you wake early, focus deeply, follow through. Instead of giving up, you are honoring the sacred contract between your potential and your reality. You are saying, I respect what I've been given enough to cultivate it. From a spiritual perspective, discipline is energy grounded in matter. It's your soul learning to operate within time. The universe responds not to what you wish, but to what you sustain. Wishing is a spark. Discipline is the steady flame that keeps the fire alive when excitement fades. Science explains this beautifully. The brain thrives on repetition. Neural pathways strengthen through consistent behavior. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you reinforce a pattern of trust. The prefrontal cortex registers I act on what I decide. Over time, that identity becomes automatic. That's how discipline becomes second nature, not through willpower, but through programming. The disciplined mind is not a mind without emotion. It's a mind that has trained emotion to serve direction. You still feel resistance, but you don't obey it. You still face temptation, but you don't collapse under it. You understand that discipline is not about force, it's about focus. Force exhausts, focus endures. Let's redefine discipline as sacred consistency. It's not doing everything perfectly. It's doing what matters even when you don't feel like it. It's showing up with presence instead of waiting for motivation. Motivation is emotional. It fluctuates with mood, environment, and reward. Discipline is energetic. It flows from alignment, not excitement. When motivation dies, discipline remains as the quiet rhythm of commitment. That rhythm creates miracles that motivation never could. From the cosmic view, discipline is how higher energy descends into reality. It's the divine law of manifestation. Energy must stabilize before it materializes. Every repetition, every workout, meditation, creation, or moment of restraint strengthens your energetic container. The stronger the container, the more energy it can hold without breaking. This is why so many people receive flashes of inspiration, but never manifest them. They have the spark, but not the structure. Inspiration is divine electricity. Discipline is the circuitry that channels it safely. Without discipline, energy leaks. You get bursts of passion, then collapse into burnout. The most advanced souls are not those who meditate the longest or speak the most beautifully about purpose. They are those who can sustain alignment through discipline, who can hold vision through boredom, doubt, and distraction. That's real mastery, when you no longer rely on mood to move you. To cultivate this level of discipline, start by making it sacred. Don't call it a habit, call it a ritual. Brush your mind daily the way you brush your teeth. Dedicate time, not because you have to, but because your future deserves it. Make your rituals small but non-negotiable. 10 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of movement, 5 minutes of silence. Keep them consistent. Over time, these small acts compound into massive momentum. The body learns obedience to the mind, and the mind learns obedience to the soul. Discipline also means restraint, the ability to say no to what fragments your focus. Every no you give to distraction is a yes to destiny. Every time you choose depth over comfort, you refine your vibration. The higher your energy rises, the more precision you'll need to hold it. That precision is discipline. It's not about control, it's about clarity. When you know what you're building, you stop wasting bricks on walls that don't matter. There's a peace that comes when discipline matures, a quiet knowing that you can rely on yourself. You no longer chase motivation because you've become your own source of momentum. That self-trust radiates confidence that no external validation can replace. Remember, the universe aligns with consistency. The sunrise is disciplined. The tides are disciplined. Every heartbeat in your chest is a lesson in rhythm, persistence, and divine order. You are made of that same intelligence. Let your actions reflect it. So treat every disciplined moment as sacred service, not to ego, but to evolution. Each time you show up, you're telling the universe, I'm ready to hold more light. And it listens. In the end, discipline is not about perfection. It's about remembering who you are and refusing to forget it when comfort calls. It's divine energy made visible through daily action. The disciplined become the free, the consistent become the powerful, and the devoted become the unstoppable. Chapter 15. Rise above your old self and stay unbreakable. Every human life is a cycle of death and rebirth, not of the body, but of identity. The person you were yesterday is gone. The question is whether you will evolve consciously or remain trapped in old patterns disguised as personality. To rise above your old self is not an act of rebellion. It's an act of remembrance, remembering the power, clarity, and resilience that have always been inside you. The old self clings. It loves comfort, repetition, familiarity. It tells you, this is just who I am, because it fears change more than it fears limitation. But growth demands letting go. Every level of transformation requires a version of you to end so that something higher can begin. This is not loss. It's ascension. Think of it as energetic shedding, just as a snake releases its old skin to make space for expansion. Your soul asks you to release old stories, identities, and emotions that no longer fit the frequency you're becoming. If you resist, life will eventually tear them away through discomfort, challenge, or heartbreak, not as punishment, but as purification. From a scientific view, this is neuroplasticity in action. When you practice new thoughts and behaviors, your brain literally dismantles old neural circuits and builds new ones. The old self is not metaphorical, it's biological, Every time you choose awareness over reaction action over avoidance, you rewire who you are. And yet evolution isn't easy. The moment you start changing, resistance will rise. Not because you're failing, but because your nervous system is trying to protect you from the unknown. The ego screams louder when it feels threatened. It will whisper, "You're too tired. You're not ready. This doesn't feel right." Recognize these not as truth, but as signals that transformation is underway. Spiritual science calls this ego death, the moment the false layers of identity crumble under the weight of awareness. It's uncomfortable because you're stepping out of illusion and into expansion. But on the other side of that discomfort is liberation, the unbreakable clarity of your higher self. To rise above your old self, you must stop negotiating with your limitations. Stop explaining your hesitation. Stop worshiping the comfort that kept you small. The energy you spend justifying your stagnation could be building your evolution. Your old self survives through repetition, through the habits, environments, and relationships that echo its frequency. To dissolve it, change the ecosystem. Move your body differently. Speak differently. Surround yourself with people who remind you of where you're going, not where you've been. Energy adapts to its environment. And when you fall, because you will rise faster. Falling isn't failure. It's recalibration. The difference between the old you and the unbreakable you is not perfection, but recovery time. The old self collapses and complains. The new self breathes, learns, and stands again stronger. Remember, unbreakable doesn't mean unfeeling. It means unyielding in purpose. It means that no matter what emotion, storm, or setback passes through, you remain anchored to your center. You can cry and still be powerful. You can doubt and still be devoted. Emotional honesty is not weakness, it's depth. True strength is quiet. It doesn't shout to prove itself. It moves with grace because it trusts its foundation. When you build your life from consciousness instead of reaction, you become untouchable. Not because nothing can touch you, but because nothing can move you out of alignment. Here's a truth to anchor in your heart. Pain is not your enemy. It's your initiation. Every time you endure what once broke you, you send a message into the universe: I'm ready for more. The moment you accept pain as refinement, it stops controlling you. The process of becoming unbreakable is a lifelong dialogue between strength and surrender. Strength to act, surrender to trust. Strength to persist, surrender to flow. The balance of the two is mastery, masculine focus intertwined with feminine wisdom. Let this be your daily vow. I will no longer shrink to fit the past. I will no longer fear my evolution. I will no longer speak as the old self when the new self is ready to lead. Repeat it until it lives in your bones. You are not here to survive as you were. You are here to ascend as you are becoming. The unbreakable version of you is not waiting in the future. It's being sculpted in every moment you refuse to give up, every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you rise again with grace. So stand tall in your becoming. Look at the world through the eyes of the self you've built, through fire, failure, and faith. You are not fragile. You are forged. You are the proof that pressure creates brilliance. You are the evidence that the soul once awakened cannot be broken, only refined. Stay steady. Stay humble. Stay unbreakable. Because the old you was built to survive, but the new you, the real you, was built to rise. Conclusion. The mind creates. The soul directs. The life obeys. You began this journey believing that your thoughts shape your life. But now you understand it's deeper than that. Your mind is not just a tool for thinking. It's a transmitter of reality. Every idea you hold, every emotion you feed, every word you repeat is a blueprint being printed into existence. You are both the architect and the inhabitant of your world. All transformation begins in silence, in the invisible realm of frequency, intention, and awareness. The thoughts you choose are not random. They are coordinates. Each one sends a signal into the field of consciousness that shapes what returns to you. That's why mastery of the mind is sacred work. To control thought is to command creation. But mastery of the mind alone is not enough. It must serve the soul. The mind plans. The soul knows. The mind calculates. The soul sees. When the two align, you enter coherence, a state where energy flows without resistance, and every step feels guided. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing toward destiny. This is where all your inner work leads alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you become. In that harmony, power no longer feels like tension. It feels like truth. The strong mind serves, the open heart leads, the disciplined body follows, and the entire being moves as one focused present complete. You have learned to observe thoughts instead of drowning in them, to choose higher emotions instead of reacting to lower ones, to guard your mind, speak with strength, and align your energy until it reflects your purpose. You've learned that faith is not blind, it's focused energy in motion. From this moment forward, you are no longer a passive participant in your own story. You are the author. You are the voice that decides the tone, the emotion, and the ending. The outer world may still shift, but you now understand the deeper truth. Nothing outside can move you without your permission. Remember this law. Your outer life is an echo of your inner vibration. When you raise the signal, reality recalibrates. If you want peace, think peace. If you want strength, feel strength. If you want abundance, embody gratitude until it becomes your atmosphere. Each morning you are reborn with a blank page of energy. The pen is your focus. The ink is your emotion. What you write today becomes your life tomorrow. That's not a metaphor, that's manifestation, both spiritual and scientific. And as you continue to grow, you'll notice something miraculous. Life stops feeling like something happening to you and starts feeling like something happening through you. That's the transition from control to creation, from fear to flow, from ego to essence. The ancient teachers called it enlightenment. Modern thinkers call it alignment. It's the same destination, the merging of consciousness with purpose. So wherever you stand, now take a deep breath. Feel the electricity in your chest, the pulse of life moving through you. That is the universe borrowing your form to express itself. You are not separate from it. You are it, experiencing itself as you. This is the truth you've always known but forgotten. Beneath the noise, you are not becoming powerful. You are remembering that you already are. Let this remembrance guide you forward. Think with clarity. Feel with intention. Act with integrity. And walk each day as the living embodiment of your highest vibration. Because the mind creates, the soul directs, and life faithfully, obediently responds. If this audiobook gave you even one moment of clarity, share it with someone who might need the same pause. And subscribe so next time, calm finds you first.